People don't know the generous gift of 4 days in a row.
Well, they do now.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. Let's screw this up next week.
We will, because I got to travel next week. That's why I bring that up.
Yeah.
That's why I bring that up, Paul, just like I bring up my face if I could find the right button, because you should take a look at the description and find the link that says Alert Logic, because Fortress Alert Logic offers the most comprehensive managed detection and response coverage for public cloud, software as a service, on-premises, and hybrid environments. To learn more about Alert Logic, make sure to visit alertlogic.com. I've also noticed, Paul, my head makes a perfect O for this, because like you can see
it sure does. Sorry. Yes.
All right, Paul, throw out.
Mm-hmm.
We have more visual evidence, courtesy of Walking Cat tweeting out a video from a hackathon about bringing a UI experience to the Steam
Before
Deck.
you do that, though, let me ask you a question about this.
Yep.
Who participates in these hackathons? Microsoft employees or intern type people?
Both. However,
Yep.
that is aside from the point, because I brought show and tell today. If you're on the audio, you might want to maybe flip to the video for today. So this is a screenshot from one of the videos, and the only reason I bring this up is that this UI matches the leaked imagery that we saw from Microsoft at their own Ignite conference, where you have the dock-like bar at the bottom, and in that top image, you can see the system tray at the top. Now,
Right.
I don't think it's a coincidence that this imagery matches very carefully to what that Windows 11 NV or Next Valley screenshot was.
Who's Dorothy Feng, Brad? Does she work at Microsoft?
Yeah.
She does. She does.
Yeah, I'm going to go with probably yes.
She's a UX designer. She looks like she's about 15 years old. But, okay. It's all right.
But focus on the Windows 12 sign, Paul. Yeah. That's the... I think they're going to Macify this thing. I think
Sure. This looks a lot like the... what is that handheld media center thing called? Portable Media Center UI.
Mm-hmm.
Or they have those little computers with the key, like the mobile keyboard on the other side.
it's a Steam Deck. I mean, that's...
Yeah, no, that's
doing.
what we call it now. But I mean, this is one of those things where Microsoft will be like, oh, we've been doing this for years, because they've had something like this in the past. But okay, yeah, no, this is another great version of Windows that can fail because nobody wants it. But yeah, sure, let's get excited about it.
We're getting a good test out of this noise canceling. My dog has decided to protect the house from something.
Yeah, threats real or imagined.
Going crazy right now.
Maybe a leaf fell out of a tree. That would usually set my dog off.
My dog is like 5 pounds. He's not protecting anything from anyone. I mean, when your biggest predator is a hawk, like you can get...
I think one of my cats could take down your dog.
A large rabbit probably could. Let's not...
Yeah. Anyway, I don't hear it. But
anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a dog. But yes,
anyhow,
Paul,
the UI stuff is interesting. Just, let's pretend this, or let's say, or speculate this is Windows 12. And okay, okay. Yep, cool. But this system, this handheld something, no.
No, I'm not. The handheld stuff, it was for like a Steam Deck. That's what they were doing it for. I zoned in on the system tray, top of the screen, search bar built in, the taskbar turning into a dock. Let's just call it the Mac OS dock because this is what it looks like, Paul.
Hey, the first step was putting it in the middle, Brad.
It was.
Right?
Stuck in the middle.
What happens next? You get rid of the bar.
Or you just shrink it. This is going to be the notch thing from Windows for iPhones, right? Every version of Windows now that the taskbar is just going to get a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter. That's it.
There used to be bumper stickers that were wrong-headed, but whatever. It was like, Windows 95 equals Mac OS, 6 or something, whatever the number was. And but they'll be able to, be like, Windows 12 equals Mac OS 10 1.0. almost 25 years later, whatever the time frame is going to be.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. And if it doesn't work out, they can rebrand Windows to just Macs.
I just
follow HBO.
I don't care, too much. I think one of the things I guess I'll say I kind of don't like about Mac OS is that they're trying to do things you can hide this, but this persistent menu bar that doesn't need to be there all the
Yeah.
time is just taking up space.
I mean,
Um,
is that going to be there?
yeah, I mean, this might be a tablet / handheld mode thing or something, but moving the cheese like this, we tried this before. Remember, we got rid of the start button. People freaked out. One of the big criticisms of Windows 11, and there are many, is that they put the widgets button right where start was. Coincidence, people who use Windows have been using. There aren't very many new users. I would think they know where to look for that stuff. Moving it to a different location on screen isn't necessarily wise, just because people tend to react badly to that stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe it looks nice. Don't get me wrong. Whatever. It's fine.
It looks nice, but I don't know.
Do you need start? Like, do you need a freaking huge search button thing? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of questions, and we're looking at two images that we shouldn't be able to see in the first place, and making a lot of assumptions. Like, the other thing that drives me nuts here, and we don't know how this is going to work out, is that taskbar is pretty far off the bottom of that screen, Paul Thurrott, and you can even see the window behind it.
Yeah. Well, so this has been an anticipated change, that the taskbar becomes a little bit of a floating window pane thing, which just wastes more space. So of the two images, the second one is pointless, other than you can see the taskbar. It's just the Xbox app, so you can kind of just delete that part of it. I mean, what's really going on here? Well, the first image has a launcher kind of a thing, which you would have for handheld. Right? Okay, that's fine. And then but it's the top and the bottom, right? We've separated one of the problems with moving the icons to the middle of the taskbar is that it's visually offset by the tray area, whatever you want to call that. So now they're putting that up top to kind of offset, I guess, to fix that. Okay. I mean, at what point do people just not care anymore?
I care.
Yeah, I do too. I do, but I just don't. I don't feel like I've ever seen anything where I'm like, yep, this is it. Like, they've done it. Like, they've solved some problem. They've fixed some issue. All they've done is create issues, and now they're like trying to fix it.
I'm funneling for words because, like, I want to know, is that persistent system tray always at the top of the screen? Is that taskbar always floating? Did you just steal 3% of my screen or 5% of my screen that I can never look at back?
Screen's getting taller. They can make that argument. They could do the smart thing, and they won't because, Microsoft, but they could make it an option. You can hide it and then mouse up and it comes up, that kind of thing. But then people can be like, I want to see the clock all the time, but I also don't want to take up yet more space on my screen.
I'm one of those people.
Well, it's bad. So one of the issues in Windows 11, again, many, is that you can't resize the taskbar, right? You can't make it a small taskbar. So now what you've done is like, well, now we have a too tall taskbar that you can't resize, and we're going to take more screen space away by putting some of it up at the top.
Right.
And now you've taken space from the top, and now you've taken space from the bottom. And eventually it becomes like that old word joke where all the toolbars take up everything, and you have like a little postage stamp in the middle to write words with.
That's exactly what it is. Anyways, we'll see. Supposedly this thing isn't coming out until a year from this fall, so a lot.
Which means that this summer we can expect to get a goofy little Microsoft event with Panos Panay.
Do you think we'll get it this summer? I don't think we'll get it. I don't.
Oh no, that's a little too early. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it'd be next summer. I think.
Sorry, I was thinking about a company with credibility. Yeah, no, you're right. Although, if enough stuff leaks and blah, 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 excitement and PC sales keep going down, they might want to get the market going. They might do it earlier. I wish they would. I mean, one of the many problems with Windows 11, they didn't test it enough. Yeah. They kind of just said, hey, here it is. Hope you like it, because we're not changing anything. And I think most people would agree it needed more time, to bake and for feedback to impact the product.
Are you saying announcing in June and shipping in October was not enough time, Paul Thurrott, to implement?
I'm saying it's unprecedented in the history of Microsoft, and I feel like a relative expert on that. And it was a mistake. Yeah. Here we are. What is it, a year and a half later? Longer, almost two, they still haven't fixed some of the problems that we immediately cited that July or June or whatever that was. I don't know. Whatever. I can't get excited about a handheld anything.
No, I'm not. The handheld stuff doesn't excite me.
Although, having it, it's not. See, you don't do this as a handheld OS. You do. It's Windows 11, but there are some options you get when you're on that system. Just like when you have a detachable keyboard, you get a couple of extra options, and one of those options is when you're not connected to an external screen and a keyboard and mouse, you have a launcher that's not Explorer. It's the Xbox app or Steam or whatever you choose. And yeah, that, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. This is it's not even a mode. It's just a bit of functionality they could easily add to Windows and should, if anyone thinks handheld gaming is going to be a thing. I still think Microsoft lost an opportunity to do a PSP style Xbox device, and we should be on the second or third gen by now, and I don't get it.
Nah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. That's where
I just think that kind of closed ecosystem, known hardware thing is what makes sense in gaming. It's it's the Steam Deck is interesting to some degree, but the truth is, what you really want is a Nintendo something something, or hopefully a Sony something something. That is what consoles are. I think that makes more sense.
On that same vein, which was announced yesterday. So Redfall is an Xbox exclusive game made by an Xbox development shop. It's going to launch on the Series X, capped at 30 frames per second.
I know.
Which.
So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Like,
what's
your
takeaway? They had to make a tough decision to get this thing out the door.
Yeah. So that's a really polite way of putting. They shipped this thing too early. They are going to be able to hit 60 frames per second, but it's going to take them longer. In that this ship it then fix it mentality that has corrupted the part of Windows I care about is apparently now corrupting the video game part of it as well. And I don't know that that's a great way to win fans in this space. I guess the calculus here is what's worse, delaying the game another 6 to 9 months or doing what they're doing. And obviously they chose what they chose. So I don't know. I don't have the answers on that one, but I noticed that too, and I was like,
They could just call it HBO or something. I don't know. Call it Max, whatever that.
Look, they could call the next one Redfall Max. Then they'll hit 120. And they'll have a naming conundrum.
Or not.
Redfall.